Coach Roy Hallenbenbeck from Millville High School. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How's everything?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. Wanted to talk a little bit of high school baseball. And before we get started with that, what was your impression of the Mike Trout movie last weekend on MLB Network?
I was blown away by it.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
Something really special. Yeah, we got a chance to see the screening of it at the Lavoie Theater here in Millville with all of our program. Every kid in our program went, and I wasn't expecting it to be as emotional as it was. It was a lot of fun reliving those memories.
How did the kids respond to them seeing themselves on TV?
Just like little kids. It was great. As soon as they saw themselves, it was really cool to watch their reaction. They did a great job. MLB was there for about 4 hours. They were there for the entire practice, and it was first day of practice too. So there's chaos going on anyway. And our kids handled it really well, and we were really surprised and happy that a lot of that stuff got put in. So it was really neat to see our kids like that.
Yeah, it was funny. I was talking to Coach Kern from Mainland High School last week, and he was saying how they went out to Arizona for their spring trip, and they got a chance to meet Mike. Some of those guys were only 8-9 years old when he was in high school, so they don't really remember his high school career. And Coach Kern was telling the guys, all right, put away your phones, be respectful, all this kind of stuff, and that didn't last long. They were like paparazzi around him.
Yeah, and that's what's hard to remember. Time goes by really, really fast. Yep. And all of a sudden you look, and these kids, like you said, they were just young kids. They don't even remember his high school career, so all they know is that he is, Mike Trout, the greatest player in the world.
Yep.
So it's cool to see them just react as total fans now.
And the kids on your team, they get to get the new cleats every year from Mike, and Mike does a great job, really staying connected with Millville, and that's got to be such a thrill for these guys to open up that box of cleats. I know when I was in high school, you beg your dad for a new pair of cleats every year, and he's working a couple extra overtime hours to try to get you the batting gloves and the cleats and all that stuff, and to see these professional quality cleats that say Millville on them and they come from Mike Trout. I mean, that's got to be a huge thrill to a high school baseball player.
Yeah, and we just try to keep reminding them how lucky they are to have that opportunity, because it is a real special thing, and we don't ever want to take it for granted in any way.
Talking with Coach Roy Hallenbenbeck from Millville High School. Coach, you guys are off to a great start, 4-1, 2-1 in league play. That's going to be a tough conference, looking at it right now. I mean, you got St. Augustine in there, Egg Harbor Township's playing well, and how about Vineland, 5-0 start? They're off to a 3-0 start in the league. I mean, this is kind of up for grabs, anybody's ball game at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about the Cape Atlantic and South Jersey baseball in general. There's no days off. It's such good baseball throughout the whole area. Every time you take the field, you've got to play well. You cannot take a day off, or otherwise you're going to get beat. And we wouldn't want it any other way. That's the way it's supposed to be, and real solid baseball, and it's fun to be a part of.
What's your impression of your squad so far? I mean, you knew you had some talent coming in, obviously with Buddy Kennedy and some of those other guys. Have you played up to expectations? What are you looking for going here, throughout the next couple of weeks of April? And you want to start getting hot in May and playing your best baseball at that time.
Yeah, I know that it's coach's cliche and all those things, but we really just try to prepare and play well every single day. We haven't really done that consistently yet. Record aside, just evaluating, did we do the things we're supposed to do? Haven't done that every day. So we're working on being more consistent, making sure we bring the same level of competition every single day, not just most of the days. And that's, I think, what everybody's trying to do right now is just get their guys in that frame of mind where every single day, whether it's practice, which we're going to at 10 a.m. here, or game, or whatever it is you're doing, every single day bring the same level of energy. I think that's the focus right now.
Coach, how do you get these guys prepared mentally for the month of May? I mean, we're 2 weeks in and you've only had about 5 games so far, so really not a lot of games per week yet, but you're going to start getting these weeks where you have 4, maybe sometimes 5 games a week if you get involved in some of these tournaments and that kind of thing. And so it's going to be a little more of a grind for some of these guys that are first-year varsity players. How do you get them prepared for a little bit more intensity as we go through the weeks here?
Well, it's funny how that works because we prepare them all March, and you kind of shake out your roster and you tell people what their roles are going to be because, we're looking at that type of schedule. And then through the first 2 weeks with some rain and things like that, you don't play that much and those roles never materialize. So you kind of have to regroup and remind your kids, listen, I know that I told you you're going to be a reliever and probably pitch 2 or 3 days a week. That will happen. We just haven't had a chance to get those games stacked up yet.
Right.
And you're right. We're just getting to that part of the season. So some of the guys, it's reminding them to stay patient that, that role that we have you in, that doesn't happen when you play twice a week, but things are about to change, and we need you guys ready.
So what's the mindset of this team? I'm sure they're pretty confident. They know they have some talent. They know they can compete in the conference you're in, and this is the time of year, a couple of weeks in, and like you said, those games are going to start stacking up. So you got to be on point here the next 4 to 5 weeks. What's their mindset right now?
Well, like I said, we may do things a little bit different. I don't let them talk too far in the future. Anytime they start talking about things that may be happening in May or June, I kind of refocus them and remind them that we have a game today or a practice today or whatever. Because I've always believed that if you, especially in our league and in South Jersey, as we already talked about, if we get too caught up in looking down the road at what's going to happen in May or the Diamond Classic or this, those things are pretty far down the road right now. And if we don't take care of business today, those things aren't going to matter.
Talking with Coach Roy Hallenbenbeck from Millville High School. Coach, what's your impression of the league so far? I mean, you got some great races already starting to materialize, not only in your conference but in the national as well, and even the United. Holy Spirit's been playing well. St. Joe's scored a big win over them this week, so they're top of that conference. You still got teams like Mainland and Ocean City battling it out, along with squads like Oakcrest and Absegami. So really a lot of competition in this league this year.
Yeah, it's really deep, and like I said, it's kind of up for grabs. So I would expect, when we finish the year and look back, there's going to be some surprising losses by some teams, and there's going to be some what ifs. When this all shakes out and everything's over, somebody's going to look back and say, man, if we'd only taken care of business on that day, see what happened here, I don't think anybody's going to run away with anything. So that's why it's really important to, make sure that everybody's taking care of their business each day, which makes every game in the league a really important game, which I think is really good for baseball and good for South Jersey.
Coach, how do you keep these guys focused on a daily basis? It's so tough in the spring sports. The weather starts getting great. These guys want to get out and do stuff with their friends on their off time. They thinking about the prom. They got so many distractions going on. Their classes are finishing up here. They're trying to get their GPAs as high as they can, before graduation or before the end of their junior years, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of stuff going on with these kids in the next month and a half, 2 months. How tough is it to keep them focused on a daily basis and say, hey, we got to focus on this next game, this next practice?
Well, what we do is we acknowledge that. We openly say, guys, listen, we understand what's going on. And to be truthful, as coaches, we're in the same boat. We all have families. We have kids. It's getting to be springtime. We have vacations we're going on, planning for the summer and things like that. So we just address it openly. Guys, I know that these things are going on, everything you just listed. And then we tell them, but we're going to put all that aside for 2 hours today. Just give me 2 hours, and let's go out with complete focus for 2 hours. Then when it's done, we can get back to all that stuff. And then tomorrow when we come in, I need another 2 hours. And I think it helps a little bit to at least let them know that we see it. We know that your life is crowded and there's a lot of things going on and you're trying to juggle a lot of things at once. And we want to help you work through that, but we got to be together for just a couple hours each day. We got to focus on the same thing and, be on the same page.
Coach, let me get your thoughts real quick on the new pitch count rules. Has that affected you guys very much, or was this kind of something you've already done in the past? What's your theory on the pitch counts, and how has it affected the way you coach?
There's been some subtle changes, just a different way of paying attention to things. I think that the rule is a good one. I think that the rule that we had before was so generic and vague that it really didn't protect kids, because some guys go out there and throw a 6-pitch inning, and that was under the old rule somehow equivalent to a guy going out there throwing a 25-pitch inning.
Right.
And when you talk about that, that's not equal. The rotator cuff and the elbow, that they don't know about innings. They just know about pitches and stress and things like that. So I think this is a really good step in the right direction. It's a little bit more accounting on our part. I mean, we really do. We have multiple people taking care of that and cross-checking and making sure we're on the same page with, how many has he thrown. I have a running flow chart with every pitcher in our program on it, and every morning I just make sure that we update that. And, okay, he threw X amount of pitches yesterday. That means there's so many days rest, because that's the only way I can visualize it. I have to put it on paper and see who's available each day and what that's going to mean moving forward. So it's a little bit more work, but I do think it's a really good step in the right direction.
Yeah, you almost need an Excel spreadsheet to figure all this stuff out, right?
Yeah, I'm a little bit more old school. Mine's on pen and paper, but same concept.
You got the old flip notebook out there, keeping track of everything?
Something like that, yeah.
All right, Coach, we're up against the break. Got to let you go. Appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know you got practice coming up, so we'll let you get to that, and we'll check back with you later in the season.
Sounds good. I appreciate you having me on. Have a good morning.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
That was Coach Roy Hallenbenbeck from Millville High School Baseball.